Want to become an Android machine learning and AI expert? Then subscribe to this channel and get 92% off coupons for our Android machine learning and AI courses. Links are given in the description. Do you want to use Google Gemini models in Android and build powerful AI-driven applications? Then welcome to this course. My name is Hamza Asif and I am a mobile machine learning instructor at Udemy. And for the past 6 years, I am teaching machine learning and AI use in mobile applications to over 60,000 students. In this course, you will learn to use powerful Gemini models in Android and build this beautiful chatbot application. So, while building this application, you will learn to build a beautiful chat application GUI in Android. And in that application, we are going to use the text-only input feature of Google Gemini to pass our questions to Gemini models and get the response inside Android. After that, you will learn to pass images to Gemini models along with your questions. And based upon the image and the question, the model will gonna return the response inside our application. And after dealing with text and images, you will learn to get the output from Gemini models using streams. So it means that you will be able to get results from Gemini models as they are being generated. And after that, you will learn to use chat feature of Google Gemini inside Android to have long contextual conversations with Gemini models inside our applications. And after using different features of Google Gemini inside Android, you will learn to combine some other exciting features with Gemini inside our Android applications. Like firstly, we are going to implement text-to-speech inside our application to hear the response of Gemini models instead of reading them.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Similarly, we are going to implement speech recognition inside our application to pass questions to Google Gemini using our voice. Hello, how are you? So it means that we are going to build a stunning chatbot application which can be controlled entirely using your voice. So, after completing this course, you will be able to use exciting features of Google Gemini inside our Android applications. Similarly, you will be able to create chatbots or assistants inside Android using Google Gemini. Apart from that, you can enhance features of Google Gemini by combining them with other exciting features inside Android. The complete course is about 4 hours long and it includes all source code that we write in this course. Every section has before and after source code, so you can easily code along with me. Apart from that, you will get a certificate upon completion which you can add to your resume. And the course comes with a 30 days money back guarantee. So if you are not satisfied, just simply ask for a refund. But one important question is who can take this course? So if you are a beginner Android developer or even an experienced Android professional, this course has something for you. So what are you waiting for? Join the course now and start building AI powered applications in Android. Welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to start building our first application in which we are going to use the power of Google Gemini. So let's start. So the first step of building this application is opening Android Studio and here creating a new Android project. So click on this new project button and then select empty views activity here because we want a screen which will be completely empty. After that, click next and then here you need to make sure that the language you are selecting is Kotlin. And then you need to type the name of the application here, like I will name it as Gemini AI. After that, if you want to change the location, then you can select the location here and then make sure that here Kotlin DSL is selected. Now click finish and our new project will be created. So now the new project is created and here below you can see that the Gradle sync is also completed. So after creating this new project, let's look at the content it is containing. So there you can see by default we got this main activity.kotlin, and the layout for this main activity is this activity main.xml. And at this moment it got this text view where we are displaying this text hello world. But now inside this project we are firstly going to build a very simple GUI for our Gemini application. So now in the GUI of this application, we are firstly going to add an edit text where user can type his question. And after that, we are going to add a send button or an image button to the right of that edit text. And when the user will gonna click on that button, we are going to pass his question to our Gemini model. And then we are going to show the response here in the middle of screen. So now let's start by creating this very simple GUI. So firstly we are going to add an edit text here. So simply search for edit text and you will find these fields. So select this plain text and put it inside constraint layout. And there you can see as soon as I put it, you can see it here. So now we are going to show this text field in the bottom of screen. So you can set the bottom constraint to the bottom of parent. And after that, if you want, you can set the left constraint as well. So after adding this text field, the next thing is the button so that user can click on it. So to add that button, we are going to search for image button here. So you can see this image button widget, so simply drag it and put it inside this constraint layout. And there you can see as soon as we added it, you can see it here. So now we are also going to set it to the bottom of screen, and here we are going to set it to the right. And after adding this text field and this button, let's set their position correctly. So what you need to do is to select this image button and then this text field. After that, right click and here select chains, and there you will see this option create horizontal chain. So by creating this chain, we will be able to show them beautifully. So simply click on this create horizontal chain, and now you can see both of them are attached with the body and also with each other. And after doing that, let's increase the width of this text field so that it can cover all available space. So select this match constraint, and there you can see it is taking all available space. And now for this image button, let's change the icon. So here search for source, and then we need to change the icon. So what you can do is to type send here in this search bar, and you will find this simple send button, and later we are going to change it, but for now we are going to use this button. And there you can see this button is visible here. So now here in this text field, user will gonna enter his question, and then he will gonna click on this button. And after that, we are going to pass this question to our Gemini model and show the result here in the middle of screen. So now we have created this very simple GUI, and here we can make few changes for this edit text, like you can click on it, and then here you can simply remove this search text, and after that you can simply search for text property here, and you can see in this text field by default this name text is printed, but we don't want to show any text by default, but instead we can set the hint for this text field. So here search for hint and you will see this option, and then you can display any hint text, like I will gonna display type here, and then add 3 dots. So press enter, and now you can see this hint is being displayed. So now after creating the GUI of this application, let's open our main activity where we are going to initialize these GUI elements. So here above our own create, you need to declare the variable for the text field, the image button and the text view, and then we are going to initialize them inside own create. And after that, inside own create, we are going to set a listener on the button, that each time user will gonna click on that button, we are going to take the value of text field and pass it to the Gemini model, and then we are going to show the results in the text view. So let's firstly declare these variables here. So late int, and we are using this late int var because we are going to initialize them later inside own create. And here our first variable will be the text field, so we are going to name it as search field, and after that the data type is edit text. After that, we are going to declare our text view where we are going to show the results. So we are going to name it result TV and the data type is text view. Similarly, we are going to do the same thing for our image button and we are going to name it as send btn. And now the type is image button. And that's it. So now we have declared these three views or widgets here and we are going to initialize them inside onCreate. So firstly, this search field. So to initialize it, we are going to call findViewById and pass the ID of this text field. And that ID is this edit text. So here you can confirm it that the ID of this edit text is this word edit text. So let's remove this hint and there you can see the ID. Similarly, we are going to do the same thing for the text view and the button. So there you can see we have declared and initialized all three views or widgets which we added inside our GUI. And after doing that, we are going to set an on-click listener on our send button. So send btn and then call this set on-click listener. And here select this method. So now here in this block, whatever code we are going to write, it will be executed once user will gonna click on this send button. But for now we are not going to write anything. But instead, after creating the GUI and initializing it here, we are going to install this application inside an Android emulator. And in your case, if you want to connect your real device, you can simply connect it and then install the application. So here I have this Pixel 6 Pro emulator, so I will gonna select it and then install the application. So now the application is installed inside this emulator and there you can see we got our text field where user can type anything. Like I will gonna type some sample text here. Similarly, after typing his question, he will gonna click on the send button and then we are going to pass his question to Gemini and the result returned by Gemini model will be displayed here. So now we have created a very simple GUI for our application and inside our next lecture we are going to pass input of the user to Gemini model and get the result. So see you in the next lecture. Want to become an Android machine learning and AI expert? Then subscribe to this channel and get 92% off coupons for our Android machine learning and AI courses. Links are given in the description. Welcome to this lecture. So after creating a new Android project and then the GUI of this application, it's time to start connecting this Android application with Google Gemini. And we are doing that so that we can pass our questions to Gemini models and get the results and show it to the user inside our application. So in order to do that, you need to open your browser and go to Google. And then here you can search for Gemini API Quick Start. So once you will type this thing and enter it, you will be able to see results similar to this one. And there you need to find the link ai.google.dev Gemini API docs quick start. So click on this link and it will gonna take you to the API page of Google Gemini. And there you can see this quick start page, and here at the top we got different frameworks. So as now we want to use Google Gemini inside Android, so you need to make sure that Android is selected. And once you will do that, then you will find the instructions for using Google Gemini API inside your Android application. And here the first thing is you should have Android Studio installed inside your system. And the second thing is your minimum target SDK should be 21. And in our case, both of these requirements are met because we have already created an Android Studio project. And inside our project, the target SDK level is greater than 21. So now after that, the next thing is setting up your API key. So to use Google Gemini API, you will need an API key. And if you don't have an API key, then you need to create one inside Google AI Studio. So the first step is creating this key, and using this key, we will be able to make requests to Google Gemini models and get the response. So to create the API key, simply right click and then select open in a new tab. And then it will gonna take you to this Google AI Studio page. So basically by using this Google AI Studio, you can create API keys for Google Gemini. But apart from that, you can read about documentation and perform other useful tasks. And we are going to explore this Google AI Studio later. But for now, we need to firstly sign into Google AI Studio using our Gmail account. So click on this sign into Google AI Studio and then select the Gmail account which you want to use. So after entering the credential, you will be able to see a window similar to this one. So this is the home page for Google AI Studio. And here, just like Google Gemini, you can type your question and get the answer. But there is a difference here that you can simply select different parameters which are related to API. So basically it is a tool which you can use to explore the APIs and perform other backend related things. And we are going to explore it later. But for now, we are firstly going to create an API key for Google Gemini. So click on this Get API Key button. So here to create an API key, you need to click on this Create API Key button. And after that, you will see this dialog. So in my case, you can see it is telling me to select a project from your existing Google Cloud projects. So here I can look at my projects which are there inside Google Clouds. And after that, I can create API key inside that project. But if you do not have any project inside Google Cloud, then it will gonna show you a button here, create API key inside a new project. And then you can click on it, and after that a new project will be created for you, and then you can create the API key inside that project. And I am not seeing that option because for my account I have already created all available Google Cloud projects. So in your case you may be looking at it, and then you can select that option to create API key inside an existing project. But once you will create the project or select existing project, after that you can click on this button and it will gonna generate an API key for you. And once that key is generated, then you can simply copy that key from here. And after that, we are going to use this key inside our application for accessing Google Gemini from our Android app. So after creating an API key, you need to copy it, and then inside your application, for now you can simply paste it above this on create. So here we are going to add a comment and then paste this API key, and we are going to use it in a minute. But now after creating this API key, go to this Gemini API quick start, and there we have completed the first step, which is setting up this API key. And now after doing that, the next thing is putting the key inside our local dot properties. But for now we have simply put it inside our main activity, and later we are going to explore this thing. But for now, after creating the API key and putting it inside our application, the next thing is installing the library for Google Gemini, using which we are going to pass input to the Gemini model and get the result. And the library which we are going to use is present here. So if you are using Kotlin, then copy this dependency, and if you are using Java, then copy these three dependencies. So I will gonna select this dependency here, and after that open our project, and here expand this Gradle script, and you will find this app level build.gradle file. So simply open this build.gradle which has this module app. And now in the bottom you will find this dependency section. So there you can see we have added another dependency in this dependency section, and here we are basically adding this generative AI library inside our project. And this is the official library of Google Gemini, and we are adding it inside our project so that we can load Gemini models and pass input. So now after adding this dependency, click on this sync now button so that this library will be downloaded and added inside our project. So there you can see the Gradle sync completed, which means that the library is successfully added. So after adding the library, let's open the documentation page, and here the next step is initializing the model. So before you can make an API call, you need to import and initialize the model. So Gemini 1.5 models are versatile and work with both text and multi-modal prompts. So basically, in order to pass input to Gemini models, we need to firstly initialize model inside our application. And to do that, we are going to find the code here. So you can simply copy this code and we are going to look at it in just a minute. But after copying it, open our application, and here inside main activity, let's create another function, and we are going to name this function as load models. So fun load model. And now in the body of this function, simply paste the code that you copied. And after doing that, let's simply import this generative model library because we have just added it inside our project. So click on it and press Alt plus Enter, and you will see this option, import this library. So just simply import it and the error is gone. And now let's look at it. So basically here we are calling this generative model method, and this method is taking two parameters. And the use of this method is to initialize the Gemini model which we want to use inside our application. So here inside it, we are firstly passing the model name which we want to load. So at the point of recording this course in the mid of 2024, the latest available model is this Gemini 1.5 Flash. So we specified its name here. And after that, the second thing is the API key which you just generated. So now we got this API key here, so you can simply copy it and then you can pass it here in place of this build config.api key. So here simply paste it and that's it. So now inside this load model, we are initializing this generative model object. But to do that, we need to call this load model function, and we are going to call it inside our own create. So here simply call this load model, and that's it. So now when our application will be installed and this own create will be executed, at the end of this method, this load model function will be called, and inside it we are initializing this Gemini 1.5 Flash model. And to do that, we are passing the model name and the API key. And once this model is initialized, then we can pass our question to the model and get the output. But before doing that, we need to declare this generative model outside of this load model. And the reason is we are going to use it for passing input to the model and getting the output. So here above our own create, let's declare another variable. So late int, and we are going to name it as generative model. So simply copy this name and put it here. And after that, the data type is this generative model, so select it. And now inside this load model, simply remove this val, and that's it. So basically now we are declaring this generative model object here, and then we are initializing it here inside load model. And once our model is loaded, then we can pass input to the model and get the output. Hello guys, Hamza here. I just want to let you know that this video is just the first part of my complete Android and Google Gemini build AI powered Android applications course. The complete course is about 4 hours long, and it includes all source code that we write in this course. Every section has before and after source code, so you can easily code along with me. Apart from that, you will get a certificate upon completion, which you can add to your resume. And the course comes with a 30 days money back guarantee. So if you are not satisfied, just simply ask for a refund. So if you are interested, I will put a link down below, and we are offering a discount to first 100 students. And now let's continue to the next lecture. And once our model is loaded, then we can pass input to the model and get the output. And to do that, you need to open the documentation page, and here you can see after initializing the model, the next thing is generating text. So basically here we got this section, and there we got an example that how we can pass question to Gemini and get the response. So you can see firstly we are declaring this prompt variable, and it is containing the value write a story about AI and magic. And then we are using this generative model object which we just initialized, and here we are calling this generate content method, and then we are passing our question. So basically, when this method will be executed, our question will be passed to Google Gemini model and it will gonna return the response. And to get the response and show it to the user, we are going to use this response object. So here what you need to do is to firstly copy these 3 lines and then open our application. And here above load model, we are going to create another function and we are going to name it as perform action. And we are going to call this function once user will gonna click on this button. So here we are going to call this perform action method. So we did not created it yet, but we are going to do that in just a minute. So perform action, and now inside this method we are going to pass the text which user entered inside this text field. So here what you can do is to use this text field and call its text property, and it will gonna return all the text which user entered there. But now as the data type of this text is editable, so we need to call toString here. So toString, and that's it. So now after doing that, let's create this perform action method here. So function perform action. And now in the body of this perform action, we are going to paste the lines that we copied. And these are the lines which we just copied. But there you can see we are calling this method here and it is taking a parameter of type string. So here we are going to take a string variable as a parameter and I will name it as question. And the data type will be string, and that's it. So now when the user will gonna click on this send button, this perform action will be called, and to this method we are passing the text which user entered here. And after that, inside this method we need to pass this question to Gemini model and get the response. And to do that we need to call this Gemini model.generate content. And then inside this method we need to pass this question, because right now we are passing a static value here. So now to make the change, simply replace this prompt with the question. And here after passing the question, you can notice we are getting this error. And when you will point the cursor here or click here, you will be able to see the information that suspend function generate content should be called only from coroutine or another suspend function. So basically this generate content is a suspend function, and in Kotlin suspend functions are used for asynchronous execution. So it means that if a function is declared as suspend, then it can be paused or resumed based upon the resources available. And we use suspend functions for network calls. So now as this generate content is by default suspend, so we need to make this perform action suspend. And to do that, simply add suspend keyword before this function. And that's it. So now here, once we made this perform action suspend, you can notice that we are getting the same error where we are calling this function. And now to resolve it, what you can do is to call this perform action from the same coroutine. As we have learned earlier that we need to either make this function suspend or call it from the same coroutine. So now we are going to call this perform action from the same coroutine, and to do that we are going to use this lifecycle scope. So simply search for lifecycle scope, and after that you need to call its launch function. So there you can see this launch block, and now inside these brackets we are going to call this function. And basically by doing that we are calling this function from the same coroutine. So now at this point inside our application, if you will install it and then type the question and click on the send button, then this perform action will be called, and inside this method we are going to pass that question to Google Gemini model and get the response. And then we are printing the response in the console. But now we need to show that response to the user on screen. And to do that we are going to use this result TV variable, because this is the variable for this text view. And here we are going to call setText or text property, and then we are going to assign the value which is this response.text, or in other words we are storing or showing the returned response to the user on screen in this text view. So now after making the changes, let's simply install the application again. So click on this top main dot and then install the application again to check the model result. So now the application is installed again, so let's test it. So I will gonna simply type the word hello here and then send it. And there you can see the text here is changed to hello, what can I do for you today? So it means that our application is working successfully and we are passing question to our Gemini model and getting the response, and then we are showing this response here. And now let's try something else. So my question will be, tell me about space. And now let's send this question. And there you can see we got a lot of text here, and this text is returned by Google Gemini model, and it is telling you about space as you mentioned inside your question. So it means that this application is working quite well. Although the GUI is very basic, but we are going to improve it inside our upcoming lectures. So now in order to use Google Gemini inside your Android application, you need to firstly create an API key. And after that, you need to add this library inside your app.build.gradle file. And this is the library using which we are going to use Google Gemini inside Android. And this is the official library. So after doing that, inside our application, you need to declare this generative model object and then initialize it to load our model. So once you will load the model, then when the user will gonna click on the send button, we are going to call this perform action, and inside it we are passing the question to our Gemini model and getting the response, and then we are showing that response to the user on screen. Want to become an Android machine learning and AI expert? Then subscribe to this channel and get 92% off coupons for our Android machine learning and AI courses. Links are given in the description. Welcome to this lecture. So after passing our question to Google Gemini model and then showing the response here in the middle of screen, it's time to make some GUI improvements inside our application. So firstly, we are going to improve the look of this bottom bar where user can type his question and then click on the send button. And after that, we are also going to add a professional chat application UI here so that we can display the questions which we are asking and the answers of Google Gemini properly, just like any other chat application. But for now, we are going to start by improving the look of this text field and this button. And to do that, open our main activity.xml and here switch to design mode, and there you can see we got this plain text and then this image button. So now what you need to do is to enclose this edit text and this button inside a card widget. So firstly, let's search for card, and there you can see this card view here, so simply add it inside constraint layout. And there you can see we added it, and now after doing that you can drag this edit text inside this card view, and now you can see this card view is containing our edit text. And here after adding this edit text inside this card view, what we can do is to set the position of this card view to the bottom of screen. So set the bottom constraint here and then set the left constraint. And after doing that, what we are going to do is to add another card view, and inside it we are going to add this image button. So here search for a card view here and then simply drag it. And now inside this card view put your image button, so just like that. So now after doing that, let's firstly change the width of this card view. So we are going to select this wrap content, and now it will gonna take only required space. Similarly for the second card view which contain our edit text, we are going to select this edit text and then we are going to select the width to wrap content. After that, we are going to select this card view and here change the width to wrap content as well. And now it will gonna take only the necessary space. And we are doing that so that we can position this image button and this edit text exactly at the same position where we had them. So here select this card view which contain our image button and set the bottom constraint. And now set the right constraint to the right of screen. And after doing them, we are going to attach them using the chain. So select both of the card views and now right click and create this horizontal chain. So just like before, we have attached them horizontally, but this time both of them are inside card view. And now select the card view which contain our edit tags, and here select the width to match constraint, and now it will gonna take available space. Similarly for this edit tags you can set the width equal to match parent. And that's it. So now we got exactly same GUI which we had before, but the only difference is our views are inside card views. And by adding this card view we can make this edit text rounded. So you can select this card view and then set the property card corner radius. So there you can see this property, and we are going to set this property to like 30 dp and press enter. And now once you will do that, you will be able to notice that this card view has rounded corners. So I will gonna zoom in so that you can see it clearly. So there you can see it. Similarly look at the other corner and it is rounded. And after doing that we can set the margin for this card view so that it will be separated from the borders. So here search for margin property, and here we are going to add a margin of 10 on all sides. So 10 dp and press enter, and there you can see now it is separated. Similarly inside this card view you can notice that the edit text is containing this line. So if we want to remove it, then we need to select this edit text, and then we are going to set the background for this edit text, and here we are going to search for transparent color. So type transparent and you will find this option for color transparent. So select it, and now you can notice that the line is gone but the height of this card view or this edit text is decreased. So now we need to manually set the height of this edit text. So simply select it, and then here we are going to set the height to like 50 dp. So after entering it, press enter, and now you can see it is looking much better. Similarly, this type here is to attach with the border. So to resolve it, we can set the margin or the padding for this edit text. So here search for margin, and now we are going to add margin to the left because here we want to add space. So we are going to set 10 dp here and press enter. And now you can see it is separated from the border and it is looking much better. So after making these changes, we have beautified our bottom bar where user can type his question. And now it's time to improve the look of this send button. So firstly, what we are going to do is to make this button circular. So simply select this card view which is containing our button. And here we are going to set the corner radius. So search for card corner radius here, and we are going to set a value like 50 dp so that it will gonna turn rounded. And now you can see the card view is rounded, but as it is displaying this image button, so it is not properly visible. So what we need to do is to firstly change the background color of this card view. So here we are going to search for card background, and then here you can select a color. Like we are going to select some green color here, so select this hollow green dark. And now you can see this green color is added, but as inside this card view we got this image button, so we need to set the background for this image button as well. So select this image button and then search for background, and here we are going to again set the same color, so green, and select it. And now you can see the whole button turned green. But once we have set the background, now the size is decreased. So here what you need to do is to set the width and the height of this card view manually. So we are going to set the width to 50 dp, and then we are going to set the height to 50 dp as well. And now once we did that, we can see this green circle here, and now inside it this button is not in the center. So to set it in the center, you can select this image button and then search for gravity. And now we are going to select this layout gravity to center, and once we will do that, it will be positioned in the center. And now you can notice that for this card view the button is not looking better, so we are going to replace this send button icon as well. But before that, let's set the margin for this card view so that it will appear properly, just like this edit text. So here we are going to search for margin property, and then we are going to set the right margin to 10 dp, and then the bottom margin, so again set it to 10 here. Now press enter, and there you can see now this button and this bar are positioned at the same height. And now the only thing is changing this icon. And to do that, you can right click on res and then go to new. And here select this new vector assets and then click on this clip art. And here you can search for different icons and then use them inside your applications. So as we are looking for an icon for the send button, so firstly we can try searching for send. And here when I sent it, I can only see this icon, so we cannot use it. So the other option is trying some arrow. So here type arrow. And now we can see a couple of arrows which we can use. Like we can use this arrow and it will be indicating that we want to send or move forward with the question which user entered. Similarly, you can use this arrow and this arrow as well. And later we can also change it. So for now we are going to select this arrow and then click OK. And after that, here you can select the color of this arrow. So I will gonna select white color here. So you can select white color from here or type 6 times F in this hex window. And now click next and this arrow will be created. So after creating this arrow inside this image button, simply search for source. And there you can see the icon which we are using. And here we are going to change this icon with the forward icon which we just added. So forward, and after that you can see this baseline arrow forward which we just created. So just select it. And now you can see this icon is being displayed here and it is looking quite well. So after improving the GUI here in the XML file, we need to make few changes in the main activity as well. So open this main activity.kotlin, and here the change which we need to make is initializing the card view which is containing this send button. So as you can see, now our send button or this image button is contained inside this card view. So we are going to add an on click listener on that card view as well. So here firstly we can declare this card view, so let int var, and then we can name our card view as send card. And here the data type would be card view. And after declaring it, we are going to initialize it here below our send button. So send card. And then we are going to call find view by ID. And then specify the ID of that card view. So here you should be careful that you select the ID of the card view which is containing our image button. And that is this card view too. And you can confirm it here that this image button is present inside this card view too. And now after doing that, we are going to set an on click listener on this card view as well. So what you can do is to make copy of this on click listener and then you can paste it below. And here you can change the send btn with this send card. So send card. And that's it. So now when the user will gonna type his question and he will gonna click on this icon or on this card view, we are going to pass that question to Google Gemini and show him the response. So now let's test the working of this application by simply installing it inside an emulator. So there you can see our application is installed again, and this time we got this beautiful bar where user can type his question, and then we got this beautiful looking send button as well. So here let's type our question. So I will gonna ask, tell me something about time travel. So here after typing the question, click on the send button, and now let's wait for the response. And there you can see we got the answer here, and it is a very detailed one. But you can notice that once we type the question and click on the send button, the text is still there. So in actual, this text should be removed as soon as user have clicked on the send button. And to do that, what we are going to do is inside this perform action, we are going to clear this search field. So here we are going to use this search field. And then we are going to access the text property, and after that we are going to call the clear function. And now this thing will gonna clear this text field as soon as this send button will be clicked, because when the user is clicking on it, we are taking the text which user entered here and calling this method. And now inside this method we are clearing this text field. So now let's install the application again and test this behavior. So there you can see our application is installed again. So this time I will gonna simply type hello, and after that I will gonna click on this send button. And there you can see as soon as I clicked here, the text entered here disappeared. And now we got the response here. And this time our application is looking much better. So now after working on the GUI of this bottom bar, the next thing is working on the GUI where we are displaying our results. And we are going to do this thing inside our next lecture. So see you in the next lecture. Hello guys, Hamza here. I just want to let you know that this video is just the first part of my complete Android and Google Gemini build AI powered Android applications course. The complete course is about 4 hours long and it includes all source code that we write in this course. Every section has before and after source code, so you can easily code along with me. Apart from that, you will get a certificate upon completion which you can add to your resume. And the course comes with a 30 days money back guarantee. So if you are not satisfied, just simply ask for a refund. So if you are interested, I will put a link down below and we are offering a discount to first 100 students. And now let's continue to the next.